Mr. Ronan, I would like to inform you that the federal government does not take kindly to having its valuable time and resources wasted on this break of yours. A stern-faced, bald, yet exceptionally well-dressed man in a suit said, with much irritation in his voice. I'm not wasting your time. If you would just listen to my story, then you would think otherwise, I promise. Mr. Nolan, right? Just hear me out, okay? And just call me Ben. Ben pleaded desperately, as the other agents started towards him, one with cuffs in his hand. Nolan, however, stopped them and let out an exasperated sigh. Fine. I could use a good laugh anyway. Okay, Ben. You said you were abducted by aliens. What exactly happened in this dream of yours? Nolan sarcastically said, with a slight smile on his lips. Ben leaned forward in his chair, suddenly eyeing Nolan with a more threatening tone to his voice. It wasn't a dream. Hell, I wish it was. Ben chuckled sadly before continuing. I was walking home from my part-time job at the supermarket at around 3 a.m. I'm a stock boy, you see. Nolan nodded. Riveting. Go on. Right. Well, I was on the side of the road when I saw an odd triangular ship thing floating damn near 100 feet in the air. It appeared out of nowhere and didn't make a sound. Ben paused to gauge the reactions in the room, but Nolan and his group looked quite unimpressed so far. Disheartened, he continued with the story as he scratched at his right forearm. Are you all right? Nolan asked quizzically, staring at the younger man's increasingly reddening skin. Yeah, I'm okay. Anyway, the next thing I knew, an enormous spotlight shone down on me, and I found myself unable to move as I was, levitated up onto the ship. Excuse me for a second. Ben went into his kitchen, pulled out a thick bag of ice from his freezer and laid it across his arm. That's more like it. Sorry about that. Nolan didn't say anything, but he did place a hand on his sidearm. Continue. I've got your attention now, don't I? I knew it. Ben laughed before he kept going. Once I was up in their craft, I, met the aliens. What did they look like? Nolan asked coolly, feigning his once genuine disinterest. Ben's previous excitement faded, and his face had gone pale as he remembered the extragalactic visitor's appearance. After a few awkward moments, Nolan asked once again, reminding him not to waste his time. Okay, right. God, they were... I don't even know where to begin. Start from the top and work down, Ben. Its head was white, blank. No facial features to speak of except for a small dot at the center of its face that glowed yellow, and a small black line descending from that to its chin. He paused, looking at his arm. Look, I really don't want to go beyond that. I changed my mind. I don't want to talk about this. Ben started to tear up and moved the bag of ice away so that he could scratch at his arm again. Only now, his skin was bleeding, and small bits of flesh were getting stuck in his fingernails. Nolan cocked his head to the side and softly demanded that Ben finish the description of the aliens. I don't want to. Get out of my house. I regret calling you guys here. Just go. Nolan slammed his fists on the table in response. You don't get to fucking decide that now. You made your bed. Now lay in it. Or I swear to God, you'll live to regret not finishing this story. Do you understand me? Ben nodded between his sobs and proceeded with describing the rest of the alien. Its head was fine for what it was, but its body... Holy shit, it was like an amalgamation of every horror you could ever dream of. I wanted to vomit as soon as I saw it. Fuck. Okay. Its body was extremely overweight. Its white skin was nearly bursting at the seams. An odd liquid was oozing out of holes in its skin as dozens of spiked tentacles thrashed and wiggled about incessantly. Fuck! Ben tore at his arm, scratching up layer after layer of his skin. The agents around Nolan exchanged concerned looks, preparing themselves for the worst. "What did they do to you, Ben?" Nolan stood up, his eyes wild as he was desperately wanting to hear certain answers from this poor soul. "One of them, its body stretched and made a disgusting croaking sound as it surrounded me, coiling my body as a snake would. God, those tentacles slathered all over, cutting at my skin as its oily skin pressed up against mine. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. Damn it!" "Stay with me, Ben. What happened next? It's extremely important that you tell me what exactly they did next." Blood began dripping from Ben's nose and eyes as he stared up at Nolan, tiny tentacles swarming out from any available orifice. "Sir, what's going on?" The two other agents in the room asked frightfully to Nolan as they drew their guns on Ben. "Stand down! Ben, you need to finish, now!" Nolan shouted, sweat dripping down his head. Its head opened up, revealing a mass of blue flesh, and a flesh tube shot out from its throat directly down my own. It injected me with... fuck if I know. Next thing I knew, I was back in my bed, and then the next day I called the FBI office downtown. I didn't think this was going to happen. What the fuck is happening to me?" Ben's speech became distorted as he let out a guttural cry before lunging across the table at Nolan, who promptly backed up. A plethora of tentacles sprang up out of the arm Ben had been scratching at. Those fleshy appendages writhed around as Ben's body began to twist, crack, and contort into the creature he had described. "Shit! Open fire! Now!" Nolan ordered, as he and his agents unleashed a wall of lead at the entity in front of them until their clips were emptied and it had stopped moving. Nobody said anything, just stared at the corpse on the table. "Sir, what... was his story true? Then, does that mean..." Nolan pulled out a second pistol and shot both men in the head before they could react. "I'm afraid that's classified." Nolan took a deep breath and went outside to light a cigarette. After taking a few drags, he pulled out a satellite phone as he stared out at the rows and rows of corn stalks around the house and dialed a number. Thank God the house was away from the city. It would have been a real shit show otherwise. A person on the other end answered, interrupting his thoughts. "Yeah, it's Nolan. We've got a possible infestation here in Kansas. I'm gonna need backup at my coordinates, and bring some body bags. My agents had to be disposed of." "Good. I'll be here on standby then. Goodbye." Nolan took a final drag before flicking the cigarette to the ground and stomping it out. Poor kid never stood a chance. Wish I didn't have to kill my subordinates too, but it's better they don't see what's coming. God knows I don't want to.